Like obviously not the result you wanted last time out, but I wonder at this point in your career, I mean, are there lessons from that, or is it just like, hey, this is the game we play?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not the outcome I was looking forward to, and going back to the drawing board, and it's the game we play, and we come out here, roll the dice in that octagon, and control the things I control, and it didn't go my way, and sucked pretty bad. But I'm looking for some redemption on that one.
I like it. Is it hard sometimes because it's the weirdest sport, right? Like you can have the best preparation in the world and just you zig when you should have zag or whatever, and it's over. That's it. So when you look at it, do you like, oh, we got to break down every frame and figure out what it was, or do you just go, well, sometimes you get caught here if you step in as many times as you have?
Yeah, for sure. Usually it's the first person to make the mistake, and I hesitated throwing a punch that I shouldn't have thrown, and I got caught in that middle ground. He caught me, and the ref called it.
Talk to me about what you've been focused on since. I like to check social media, see what you guys are up to. It just seems like you've been doing a lot of hiking as far as if I look at your social media.
Yeah, definitely. I'm out in the mountains as much as I can. In Iowa with my family. Spend a lot of time with my boy. He's 2.5. Training my ass off, and just putting the work in for it.
Yeah, you made some training changes as well?
I did, yeah. I reconnected with Eric Koch. He looks like a light heavyweight right now. He's bulked up quite a bit. But we're old training partners since like 2011. Trained in Milwaukee a bunch. We're both in Iowa. He's my head coach, and he's running a good fight team in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I got Ben Askren coming out in my corner, and still training with my grappling coach in Des Moines as well.
Very cool. What was the motivation behind that? Was it just to change things up, or geographic thing, or what was the decision?
I've been meaning to reconnect with him sooner, and it's just, it didn't work out, and so I needed to change things up. He actually prepared to fight Dober 3 different times as well, and that helped. And we kept it real simple for this camp too. Been, training my butt off, of course, and controlling everything I can control, and putting in the work, and just keeping it simple.
Awesome. All right. So, what do you think about you as an opponent, and kind of what he offers you?
He's a big name. He's been around for a while. I actually fought on the same card he made his pro debut on back in 2008 in Omaha, Nebraska, and I've kind of had my eye on him since 2008. Quite a while. He's beat some big names. I know this is a big opportunity. I'm looking forward to, taking a hold and seizing the moment and leveling up big time in my career.
That's awesome. So you actually remember that, like him from 2008? Yeah, because it's one thing to like look back on a card or whatever and be like, oh, look at who was on the prelims. But you actually remember identifying him and saying, that's a dude I'm going to fight at some point?
Yeah, he was impressive. He won. He was had the kickboxing background and had a big following even back then. And I had that feeling, that we'd meet someday, and here we are.
That's awesome. Last thing for me, I guess, you kind of touched on, I guess, leveling up. I mean, the goal here, as many fights as you are in your career, is it just go pick up another win, or there's still like little things you have to check off, like I want to accomplish this in this fight, I want to make sure this happens in this fight?
Yeah, for sure. Keep it simple. The more game planning we do, the more complicated things get. We kept it simple. The big thing is not hesitate. Don't get stuck in that middle ground with him, and no firefighting with this guy. He wants to get. He wants to get hooking and banging and push guys up against the cage, and he's had a lot of success with that, most of his UFC career. So it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. He's had a lot of success with what he's done. And I know it's a dangerous fight. He's got a lot of power. So I'm going to be on my P's and Q's and stay sharp with him.
I mean, thanks for taking the time. Kind of like a two-part question. It's great to be able to have that mind of Askren, former champion, and Eric. What do you get from each? Like the kickboxing, obviously striking must be off the hook when you guys game plan, and then obviously with Ben, incredible wrestling.
Yeah, both of them, incredible fighters, friends. We spent a lot of time training together over the years. With all your training partners, you see these guys, seeing these guys more than most of my family for the past 20 years. So we spent a lot of time on the mats, and both of them, have been there, done that. Especially with Ben, he's just so nonchalant. It's like, this is what we come out to do. Yeah, we put the work in. And I'm just get in there, make it happen. It's kind of like, whatever kind of thing. And Eric, he's really good with the little details and knowing what works good for me, not trying to change my style up too much, and they see things different too. It's just that's where a lot of these mega gyms are having a lot of success too, because a lot of guys have been in it for so long, they just see things differently. If you're training at a smaller gym that you don't have guys that have been there, they see things different. My last fight, for instance, I knew his number one punch was going to be his left hook, and after the fight, he in one of his interviews he said his coaches were calling for they said the left hook's going to be the punch, and that was the punch that he dropped me with. It comes down just to one punch sometimes, or a certain movement, or your head movement and things, little details.
It has to be awesome to have just all that experience, you guys together. You can't teach that. You mentioned the 2-year-old,
Yep.
and I'm teaching him this, teaching him that. But how great is it to be able to just have him help you just disconnect from all of this and teach you a couple things and help you reset when you need to?
It's amazing, man. There's no other feeling like it, and anyone that's a father, parent, can contest to it. Like, it just gives you a little more motivation, something more to fight for. Not only better my life, better his life, his future. Set his future up a little better, and it's it's fun playing around with him doing jiu-jitsu. He'll say, "Jiu-jitsu, come at me, want to take me down?" And I'll pick him up and play around with him a little bit, and he watches me work out. He's on the mats with me sometimes. It's really fulfilling having a child now.
Hey, never too soon to learn how to pull guard, right?
Yeah. Hopefully not pull guard. No pulling guard in my house.
And last for me, I'm sure you guys know this. It's obvious, and I'm sure it's easier said than done. But how do you not get caught up in a Drew Dober fight? Because he is definitely able to bring you in, turn it into his type of bout. And the guy main eventing Saturday, he was able to get him out of there just by making it a Dober fight. How do you guys stop that from happening?
Yeah, I actually ran into Bobby Green, fought him, if that's who you're mentioning. And, he was piecing him up real good. And he got stuck up against the cage, got caught in that middle ground, head center line. I don't want to get pushed up against the cage, and I'm not going to let him, reel me into his style of fight, which is, up against the cage, middle ground, and just, wailing away.
All right, man. Excellent. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ricky, to your right here. I just wanted to jump off what Mondo said. Some fighters I've talked to have mentioned that they don't want their kids to go into MMA because of the struggle that they face. Of course, they want their kids to be able to protect themselves. For you, where do you fall online on that?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle with it, but I'm not going to encourage him to fight. Maybe he'll want to wrestle or compete in jiu-jitsu or something. But when it comes to the striking and stuff, if he absolutely wanted to fight, I'd help guide him, but run him through the ringer and see if he really wanted to do it and see what he had, and really kind of put it to him and kind of test him that way. Then we'd know for sure. A lot of guys say it. Yeah, I want to fight. I'll have people come up at a local show and, oh, hey, I want to fight. Okay, well, come in the gym. And then a lot of times you don't see them, or there's some that do, and then they kind of dip in and out. It's the consistency over the years. There's so much that goes into it. If you really want to make it in this sport, you got to dedicate your life to it. It's not a game you want to take lightly. Obviously you can get knocked out or hurt. You have the injuries with just the training alone. Just getting here alone is harder than what most people realize. I've had a lot of injuries in the past. The financial stuff, your support system, your family, your training partners, your friends, the coaches. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this that most people don't realize.
You had mentioned earlier about how having your son for the last 2.5 years now has bettered your life. It's bettering his life. And when you reflect on that for the last 2 years, obviously it's been another motivating factor. But specifically, how has that translated of being a father translated into the octagon for you?
Ooh. Well, I can tell you, obviously it just motivates me more. I have, another mouth to feed. And, man, it makes me, I I got to be a little smarter with my training and stuff too, especially like just getting here, like I was saying, my training, if I get injured and you know, can't pick them up for a couple months, like that puts things into perspective where I need to be more mindful of reading my body, when I need to back off of certain stuff, work around certain things. So it just helps put things into perspective, I guess. It makes me kind of trim off the fat in my life and see where, you know, maybe I don't hang out with this person or we're just a little better with our time because we have a child and, you know, he goes so fast. He's 2.5 already. It seems like just yesterday he was born and now he's running around on his bike and wanting to do jiu-jitsu with me and stuff.
That's awesome. Thank you for your time. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.